this weekend we had really crazy weather. One of my friends, he's in Las Vegas, and he saw 2 truck accidents, right? We were talking in the chat group, so I didn't get all the details, but it sounded like it happened in the rain. In the chat group, there's a bunch of people we talk, they're good friends of mine. And so we're talking about that. And I let them know that, yeah, rain is dangerous, snow is dangerous. And they're the 2 obvious culprits for a lot of accidents and stuff that you see on the road with semi-trucks. But I told them, yeah, the winds are even more sometimes dangerous, right? I can't say it's more, but the winds are just as dangerous. And they are kind of like the invisible danger. Because rain you could see, snow you can see, ice on the road you could see, wetness in the road you can see, but wind, it's hard to see. I mean, you could hear the noise and you could see the trees moving, but like if you could see where the gusts are shooting through and you could slow down and speed up and avoid those gusts, that would be amazing, right? But you can't. It's just an invisible thing, right? And so sometimes you're driving and all of a sudden you almost feel like your truck is going to just lift off the ground, because this gust is so strong. It's like a power punch right into the truck. And I've had situations where you just automatically start moving to that next lane. And some of my friends, they actually move to the next lane, right? Because they've gotten hit so hard. Yeah, I got video footage of some of these gusts, and it created a series of sandstorms as I passed Indio, Palm Springs, and Morongo. But during this whole stretch, these sandstorms, they weren't as severe as they can be. Because some of these dust storms or sandstorms that you drive through, sometimes your visibility goes down to really low, right? Just like fog, right? You could have a light mist or you could have a thick fog, right? These sandstorms, it could be sand just kind of blowing around, or it could be thick sand because it's kicking up so much sand. This was a lot of sand, believe it or not. In this video, it doesn't look as extreme, but we still had visibility on the road, so I didn't pull over. But the winds were strong and the sand was kicking up, so I just wanted to share this video with you too. What's going on, my people? So this week started off a little bit slow. I was getting 1 assignment a day pretty much, and that translates to about 7 hours, 8 hours in work time. And I like to drive as much as I can in one day and try to fill up that 14-hour clock. I had an interesting thing that happened to me when I was at Napa Valley. And when I went to the window, the lady said, go to dock 9, and when you're finished, come in and get your paperwork. I asked her, okay, so I'm gonna, as soon as that red light that's flashing turns green, I'm gonna head over to you and I'm done, right? I'm gonna head over to you, get the paperwork, and head out. And she said, absolutely, yes, that's correct. They loaded me pretty fast. I went ahead and looked, the light was flashing green. And as soon as I got out of my cab and started walking towards the window, there's a guy waiting there and he's walking towards me. And I assumed that he just got assigned dock number 9. So he said, are you on dock number 9? And I said, yes, I am. And he said to me, he said to me, okay, you need to move your truck right now. And I said, yeah, I will. I just have to get my paperwork. And he said, no, you need to move your truck now. I'm like, you want me to move my truck? Yeah, right here, over here. And I started cracking up. I couldn't help it. I started laughing. And then I was laughing because, the guy sounded like he owned the place or something, right? I walked to the window, came out, not even a minute, probably like 30 seconds, right? I just went to the truck. I didn't confront him. I didn't call him out or whatever. It was just hilarious. It's like a pouting little kid, right? You need to move your truck right now. I just started busting up. And so I went ahead and left. I mean, I didn't go faster or slower. I just did what I'm supposed to do, right? And so you have people that are so high strung. They're I guess they are on the go. I'm on the go all the time. I'm go fast. But there's got to be some level of respect and like at least some social awareness. I have stuff like this happen all the time when I live where there's a lot of Asian people, and most Asians that have acclimated to America, they're fine, right? But there are some people that have just grown up in Asia, certain parts of Asia, and they have no social awareness, and they come to this country. They have yet to learn the proper etiquettes or the proper, things. And it's kind of not their fault because that's the environment they've been in all this time. But, they need to be aware. You come to a new place, you learn, it's just stuff that you need to do. That's one of my pet peeves because I'm at Costco and I think I got, people just pushing their carts like they're in a race or something. And they're just, tailgating you the whole time with their cart, right? And then the minute you slow down because somebody in front of you slowed down, that cart goes right into your heel, right? And I gave both of them the death stare. And they said, oh, sorry, like it's normal for them. I don't know, but anyway, social awareness, people, like social awareness, right? And this isn't a race thing. This isn't a thing. It's just, the environments that we all have grown up in, it's all different, and some of these people have different circumstances and different environments, and that's just the way it is, right? That was the beginning of my week up in Napa. And then I was getting one load. It was kind of slow grind to the week and a little bit frustrating because every time I finished the load, I wish they had an appointment time that was right after, or maybe a relay or something that wasn't such a huge gap. But for some reason, they're piecemealing one load. The next appointment is like the next day. And it's just like, I can't work like that. It's just really frustrating. I feel like I'm wasting my days. If they're going to do that to me, I might as well be able to go home every day, right? And have some time off and stuff. I don't know, like go home for 4 or 5 hours each night. That would be nice, right? But it's not like that. You're stuck with the truck, and then yeah, it didn't make sense. Anyway, I like moving, delivering, picking up, going, getting the next assignment, getting this. I don't like this gap where you get to a destination, you got 6-7 hours before your appointment time. Doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Anyway, next week I talked to the manager. Next week he's going to try this new program for me where I get to go up to Stockton back and forth. So we'll see how that goes. I want to also try to minimize the gaps in between, because I already know there's going to be gaps of like time, 4 or 5 hours gap here, gap there. And like I said, I like 14 hours, as full of a day as possible, as close to 14 hours as possible, right? So I know some of you guys have commented that I'm pretty positive or whatever, I try to be, but at the end of the day, I'm a human being. If you talk to some of my friends, they'll tell you how annoyed I get, or how worked up I get sometimes when things don't go my way, or I have certain expectations and those expectations aren't met. Everybody's like that, right? But people have different thresholds for different things. Some things we're more sensitive, and some things we have a thicker skin, right? The way I approach life, you can't use it as a template for somebody else, because they have a different upbringing, they have a different belief system, they have a different approach to life, they have different cautions and fears, just a lot of different things, right? Just different people. One thing good about these videos is seeing that different perspective, right? And seeing the examples from different people, and then people making informed decisions or more enlightened decisions on which path to take for themselves, because everybody has to choose their own path, right? So that's one of the things, is that I like to approach a job as positive as possible, as proactive as possible, because let's face it, a job is a job. A job is somebody paying you just enough to do something that other people don't want to do, right? That's what it is. I mean, there are certain jobs that are very rewarding, but even those rewarding jobs, if you have a stinky attitude or if you don't approach it properly, you will be miserable there. Now, all jobs have problems. All jobs have difficult people. All jobs usually have stress. All jobs are, sometimes they don't fit well with you, and this trucking job is not different. If you approach it with a bigger capacity and the right attitude, you can maximize the joy you can get out of driving a truck and doing this job, okay? But if you are very thin, if you have the wrong attitude and the wrong approach to this job, one day, you might last 1 day, you might last 3 months, you might last a year. If you have the right attitude, you can probably go on for a long time. Now, there are people that say, oh, that person had such a rewarding career. They love their job. I wish I had that job. Oh, they went from, 3-4 decades of working there, and they retired there, and they had such a great experience. I guarantee you 90% of that experience has to do with that person's attitude and his approach to that work, the person who's employed, okay? If you have the wrong attitude and the wrong approach, they will not last that long. You won't. You just won't. Or you won't want, even if you last that long, every day will be a miserable grind, right? So there are times when we say, I had enough, right? There are times when we say, well, that's too much to handle. And everybody has a different threshold, like I said. So that's what you decide, right? There are times when people want to quit because in their mind, it's not what they signed up for. Let me get this out of the way real quick. There are organizations, leaders, owners of businesses, and people that you're reporting to that could make your life miserable, and you shouldn't tolerate that. There are dumb people making dumb decisions, and it affects you, and maybe you should avoid those situations. There are people who can't manage companies. They have no business managing companies, but they're managing companies, and it affects you. Don't be in that situation, okay? And like I said, you determine, because there's no perfect company. I'm not saying, you need a perfect boss. There's no perfect company, but you need to find that sweet spot where, yeah, I tolerate XYZ BS, but the rest of it is good. It's okay. What I encourage people to do is, you may not like your job, but you may be very good at it. Okay. So hear me out. You may not like your job, but you may be very good at it. Right? And people would pay you good dollars to do that job, and you're faster and better than other people, right? Or you get it, and you're just smooth without mistakes, better than other people, more efficient, more effective, right? To those people, and if that's the best paying job out there, and you're rocking it, but then you go to work and you're like, I don't really like it too much. This isn't what I really want to do. I would encourage you to change your attitude and to a certain degree suck it up, but change your attitude and take a positive approach. And hear me out, and go ahead and get hobbies, or on your off time, things that you really enjoy doing. Because most of the times, if there are things that you and other people really enjoy doing, people aren't going to pay you for you to do that, right? Okay, let's take, for instance, acting. There's so many people that want to go into acting or singing or the entertainment industry, right? And people have to work so hard to get in there a lot of times. They go into these talent agencies and they grind it out, learn how to dance, learn how to sing, learn how to act. They do all this stuff. But you look at the entertainment talent pool, and there's so many aspiring, actors, actresses, people out there, people that sing really well, amazing. They just can't get their break, right? And they're working as a waiter or waitress or whatever. And, and even if they do get their break, getting another call, getting casted again. It's just because it's a very sought after job, and people are dying to do that job, right? The people are dying to become famous as an actor, actress, or entertainer, right? So you have too much supply and not enough demand, right? Economics, right? Supply and demand, right? Supply, demand, and how much at the intersection, how much they're willing to pay for that supply and demand, how much you're willing to receive, how much they're willing to pay, right? That's where that equilibrium, that intersection happens, right? Yeah. So yeah, you need to go through some school, you need to go through some training. Like truck drivers, we need to go through training. We need to get a CDL. We need to pass our training and whatever. If we're dangerous, if they see us that we're dangerous, you're out of here. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're accident prone, yeah, you're out of here, right? People aren't going to hire you for that. So you have criteria. So you have to know XYZ, and the general public doesn't know how to do that, right? That's why truck drivers, we go through training, right? Same with doctors and pharmacists and, people that are in the industries that are very specific. You have to get licensed. You have to go through, university and, med school and whatever, law school, things like that, right? Because those jobs elevate you or not, I don't want to say elevate, but separate you into a smaller pool of people that are qualified, right? And that's why they can get paid a little bit more or a lot more, depending on who you are, right? Even those jobs, a lot of times people want to quit. I've talked to professionals, and there are times when right before they become that professional, right before their bar exam, right before they finish med school or pharmacy school, or whatever it is, they feel like maybe this isn't my calling. Maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do in life. People think like that, and so why am I saying all this? One, no matter what job you're at, make sure it's the right job for the right season, and it's the best job for you for the season. And you could determine that by money or by where you feel like you're supposed to be at that season of life, because not everything is dictated by money, But for most of us normal people that don't have tons of money in the bank or something in our savings or whatever, yeah, a lot of it is dictated by money, right? But I would say find the best opportunity and have the right attitude. Have the right attitude and approach the job in the right way. And you're going to be there, do the best you can, give your best energy, give your best effort, and bless those people with, this is one of the things, sorry, I'm going off on another tangent, but one of the things I see is that people reserve themselves to the status quo. Like, let's say you're capable of doing 10, but everybody's doing 5. Well, I'm going to do 5 because that's what's fair, right? But you have the capacity to do 10, right? I would encourage you, if you have the capacity to do 10, do 10. Even though other people are doing 5, right? Even though it feels like it's unfair, but you have the gifts, use your gifts. You know, don't sit there and hold it back because, oh, I want to do what other people, you know, what other people are doing, you know. But now in the reverse side, if you've got the gift of 5, don't think in your mind you can do 10 and try to do 10 and blow everything up, you know, like mess everything up. You know, there are people like that. We think sometimes, you know, sometimes I fall into this, like sometimes we think we can do a lot more than we can, and we end up being messy and we end up causing problems, you know. So yeah, get the right job for the right pay with the right attitude, right, and the right approach. That's what I would say. So this trucking job for me is a job. It's a job, you know, whether I started working here, whether I worked at a kitchen in a restaurant, whether I started another business, whether I became a VP of operations for another company or whatever. What if they made me a CEO? Doesn't matter, you know. I would approach it pretty much the same way, the same energy. And those titles don't, you know, they don't determine you as your worth as a person. Trust me, you know. I've been there, done that, you know. It just sometimes people have more insecurity and fear at the higher up levels. It's funny, you know, and they've got to assert their dominance. They got to try to micromanage and control you because they're afraid that things aren't going to go, you know. And you know, some of those leaders, they need to relax, you know, hire the right people, intelligent people, communicate well, let people do their job, you know, instead of feeling all this fear and insecurity, you know what I mean? But there are times, you know, we do deal at every level. We do deal with people that are forgetful, that need reminding, or that need a little push. You know, for me, I have to say, hey, I need miles. Hey, I need my next assignment. I need my next trip. You know, I need to keep rolling. I need to keep on trucking, you know. And so that's my encouragement to you. You know, have the right attitude at the right job, and then get a hobby or do stuff outside, whether it's a hobby or whatever you do extracurricular or outside of your job, spending time with family, building relationships, you know, hiking, backpacking, you know, things that you enjoy doing, you know, that people aren't necessarily going to pay you for, right? They're not going to pay you to do those things, but you could go ahead, make your hard-earned money, you know, get the best paying job that you can get, and then use that to save up or to, you know, spend on the things that you enjoy. Okay. So, okay. I guess that's it for me this week. You know, the miles were a little bit soft, on the softer side. Next week, I hope to get a lot more mileage and hopefully a, you know, better paycheck. But this week it is what it is. You know, you got to roll with the punches, and you got to keep asking for more miles, and hopefully they keep you busy and rolling, right? Anyway, peace. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for watching these videos and going on this journey with me. Have a great week. God bless, and see you next time. Cheers.